This is how I bought my first investment property, a fourplex, at 19. So when I was still in high school as a senior, I was 17 years old, I was already prepping and trying to figure out how I can afford my first investment property. I had just quit from a job being a dishwasher and I started working at a nutrition shop. I called a real estate agent and asked him, what is the first step I need to take to buy a property? I like this property, I want to buy it. He said, you need to get pre-approved by a lender. That's the first step you need to make before you can even put an offer in. And so I contacted a lender and the lender told me, you don't make enough money to get approved for any of the houses in our area. I just wasn't making enough money. I was making minimum wage and even working 30 to 40 hours a week. I was not able to make enough money to afford a house. So I started thinking, I was also going to college part-time. I was taking a few classes and I started thinking, how can I make more money? How can I afford to be able to buy a house? How much money do I need to make so I can buy a house? And I started doing the math and I didn't think I had the qualifications to apply for any of the jobs that were making that much money. And I started thinking, what is the fastest path to make that much money? Because I don't want to spend another few years going to college before I buy my first property. I want to buy one now. There's not a career that I care about. There's no job that I'm wanting to get out of college. So what I did was I actually hopped on YouTube and I started looking up high income jobs with no experience. I came across sales jobs. Sales is one of the highest paying jobs that you can get. It doesn't require a degree or any experience. So I looked up on Google sales jobs in my area. I started applying for sales jobs. One was a jewelry store, another one was insurance, another one was car sales. After going for a few weeks, checking in on my applications, I got an interview at a car dealership. The sales manager started interviewing me and looked at my resume and it was nothing special. I was a dishwasher and I worked in a nutrition shop and I worked at a gym by the time that I was applying for this job. So they were all minimum wage jobs. I had no actual sales experience, but by my confidence, by my responses, he saw ambition in me and I got the job. So it was really exciting when I first got into sales and he asked me, oh, how much money do you want to be making? And based off of just being able to afford a basic home in my area, I was like, I would be happy to make $4,000 a month. And he asked one of the other salesmen to come up to the office and then he's like, hey man, how much did you make last month? And then he was like, I made $8,000 last month. And I was shocked and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I didn't even know you could make that much money. It was the first step that I took in the right direction that was aligning with buying my first investment property. I dropped out of college and quit my job instantly for this job. Little did I know, by working at a sales job changed who I was. I was pretty antisocial. I didn't have any good communication skills. I was not good at sales at all. And one of the big things was that I was a people pleaser. So I let people walk all over me before. At my previous jobs and throughout my life, once I got the car sales job, because of what I was dealing with every single day with customers and the variety of personalities and situations that I was in, it helped me develop skills, confidence, communication skills, sales skills, and it helped me build a confidence to not let people walk all over me. After 1 year of working in car sales, I made enough money to buy my first property. So after working a year at the dealership, I finally got pre-approved to start looking for a property and I was able to afford a property in my area. So I contacted another agent looking for an investment property. This was still another process of months of looking, putting in offers and getting beaten by other buyers and it not working out. And I was kind of starting to get discouraged. And so after a few months, I told my agent, you know what, I'm just gonna buy any house. So I found a property that I liked and I ended up putting an offer on it. It got accepted, and we were in escrow for 3 weeks. It was about to fund. There was only 1 week left of escrow before I got the keys. So everything was done. All inspections were done. I was about to close on this property. And then the pandemic happened and all the businesses closed. So I got furloughed, and because of that, the lender didn't fund, and I lost out of that property, and I had to start all over again. So after a month, the dealership opened up again, and I was able to start working again, but something happened. All of a sudden, multifamilies that were not being posted before started coming up. I started seeing multiple multifamilies for sale, and I'm like, perfect, that's what I'm looking for. So I started putting offers on the multifamilies, and same thing was happening. I was getting beat by other investors, and they were buying them, and I wasn't getting them. And then finally, after a few months of putting in offers on multiple properties, I got one. It just showed how when you let go of wanting to buy an investment property specifically, once you let go of the thing that you're forcing to happen, it almost happens more effortlessly. Because I was just gonna try to buy any property at this point because I couldn't find an investment property that I wanted to buy that made sense. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna buy any property. And then it was crazy because I was so close to actually buying just any property, and I'm so happy that it didn't work out. I was so pissed when I fell out of escrow, and I was like, dang, I was so close. I was gonna buy my first property. I just wanted to buy a property. And it ended up being a blessing in disguise because I ended up buying a property that actually made sense, and I was able to house hack. It was a fourplex. It was 2 duplexes backed up to each other, and they were all rented out, and it ended up being perfect. So it's just crazy sometimes how things happen, and that's the story of how I bought my first property at 19, and it was a fourplex.